My 33 girlfriend, 31F, let's call her Rose, said she'd been wanting to take a trip to Colorado to visit her aunt. The last time we saw her aunt was 2 years prior when she came over for her birthday to surprise Rose. Her aunt is like a second mother to her, but had to move away with her husband for work 5-ish years ago. We planned the trip, I buy the tickets, book the hotel, and fast forward to 2 days ago, we're in Colorado. We settled in at the hotel, visit her aunt, went out to eat, came back, slept. Yesterday we went over there again. After coming back to the hotel yesterday, Rose tells me she wants to go back to her aunt's to sleep over at her house. I thought that was kinda odd since we're visiting here for about a week and still have a lot of time to see her, and we have to Uber to her aunt's house. But I didn't think much of it and figured she just wants to spend as much time with her as possible. She leaves, and an hour or so later, I text her to see what she's doing, because she never let me know. She got to her aunt's house, which is about a half-hour away. She doesn't answer the text and doesn't answer my call, and I start to get a little worried, so I call her aunt and ask if Rose is there. Aunt said she's not, and while telling her that she should have been there by now, Rose texts me saying she's in the living room watching TV with her aunt. Now, 2 thoughts are in my mind. Rose lied to me and she's somewhere else, or something bad might have happened to her, and she's not the one texting me. I told her aunt I'd call her right back and call Rose. Rose picks up and says she's in the bathroom, and she'd call me right back. Before I get to say anything, she hangs up. At this point, my heart is in my stomach and my palms are sweating. I'm freaking out thinking there's no way she's cheating on me with someone. I've had this weird vibe from her lately, like she hasn't been acting totally like herself, and she's done some questionable things when we first got together. But nothing this crazy. I knew her. Aunt would be worried since I was asking where she was, so I called her aunt back and lied and said that she entered the wrong address, and she decided to just Uber back to the hotel, and we'd see her aunt tomorrow. I try to call Rose and text her for like 2 hours straight to see what she's doing, and she doesn't answer. I didn't know what to do, and just started walking all around town, chain-smoking cigarettes, waiting for a text or a call. I finally go back to the hotel and end up knocking out on the bed. After staying up for a little longer trying to call again, I wake up this morning to her walking into the hotel room. I jump out of bed and I said, "What were you doing? I tried to text and call you for hours and you didn't pick up or answer anything?" She said she was sorry and that she fell asleep with her phone on mute, charging in her aunt's bathroom, and then walks to the bathroom in our hotel to brush her teeth. At this point, I'm furious because I know she's lying, and I was thinking of a million ways on how to react, but when she walks out of the bathroom, I just blurted out, "I called your aunt yesterday and she said you weren't there, as you texted me saying you were there. Where were you?" She froze and her eyes opened wide and just started crying. I already figured she cheated on me, but her reaction just confirmed it for sure. And I said, "Oh my God, you really cheated on me. You brought me on vacation to cheat on me. Where did you go? Who were cheating on me with? Did you know them this whole time? Was your aunt just an excuse to come here?" And the entire time I'm asking questions, she's ignoring everything and just repeats, "I'm sorry," while crying. She stops crying and tells me she has been talking to this guy she met through Instagram and thought she'd go and spend time with him while she was here, and was trying to tell me that she didn't do anything and they just talked and hung out, but knew I wouldn't be okay with it. So she lied and said she was going to her aunt's. I respond saying, "Are you serious? You're lying to me again. You really expect me to believe that? You were literally just crying because you're guilty." And she starts crying again. She finally says she did really meet the guy through Instagram and that he makes custom jewelry, and at first she was interested in a ring, but it turned into them talking, and they've been planning to meet since I first booked the flight and hotel. She said they had sex, and as soon as she woke up this morning, she felt disgusting and rushed back to the hotel, and she kept apologizing to me and saying she'd do anything to fix this. And I said nothing, just walked out, took an Uber to another hotel, and I've been sitting in the room bawling my eyes out, wondering where to go from here. The flight back isn't for another 3 days, and I don't know how I'm supposed to sit next to her on the plane. I feel sick to my stomach and lost. I, 28 at MEM, have been with my girlfriend, 26F, for 3 years, and we've been living together for almost the entire time. 2 months ago, she received a job offer that would essentially require us to move further away from my job and my brother. I asked her not to accept the job, but she thought it would be good for her career, so I eventually conceded and agreed to move with her. She informed her current job that she was leaving, and during that week, she came to me and said she wasn't sure if things would work out between us because I had been so unsupportive. She mentioned she was unhappy and that I didn't make her feel special. This news really shook me because I always envisioned a future with her. The thought of losing her over something seemingly trivial motivated me to take action. I immediately booked a fancy hotel room for us and took her out to show her how much I loved her. She agreed that we could take it day by day, so I did everything possible to make her believe in us again. I woke up early to cook breakfast, sent her sweet messages, and did everything I could think of to make her feel special. Later that week, I overheard her laughing on the phone with her boss, which gave me a weird feeling. I had always felt uncomfortable with how unprofessional she seemed with him, especially since they would hang out outside of work, in groups with coworkers. That night, while she was sleeping, I decided to check her phone, not expecting to find anything but just to be sure. However, the texts I found between her and her boss were extremely suggestive. I woke her up and confronted her. She admitted that he had confessed his feelings for her and that she might have feelings for him. She said he had kissed her once when she told him she was leaving the company, but nothing had happened since. She also told me that he had been trying to convince her to leave me. We stayed up all night talking, and I told her that I could move on if she recommitted to our relationship and cut off all contact with him. The next day was her last day at her old job, and she told me she had the conversation with him and blocked him. The next 6 weeks were incredibly difficult for me, but I eventually started to feel better. However, there were a few inconsistencies in her story that bothered me. I wanted to move forward, get engaged and recommit, but I needed to know the whole truth. So I reached out to her boss. He told me that they had kissed 3 times, not just once. And the last time they kissed was when she told him she was going to try to reconcile with me on her last day of work after I found out. He also mentioned that they had talked a little the following week after she claimed she had blocked him and promised me she would never lie again. Now I don't know what to do. I kicked her out of our apartment and said we couldn't live together anymore. But she keeps telling me she'll do anything to make it work between us. I told her I needed 2 weeks before we could talk again, but I don't know if I can ever get over this. Did she choose him over me? Was I the second option? What would have happened if I never found out? I don't know if I should move on or try to make it work. I still love her and we have so much history together. We've gone on family vacations, and I had planned to propose within a few months. I'm so confused and feel alone. Are all women like this? Is there any chance of rebuilding trust?